Good morning. This is August the 14th, 2018. Gary Morgan with arclight.blogspot.com in the Borough. We'll be listening in on a meeting this morning with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission at their headquarters in Rockville, Maryland. This concerns Bellefonte Nuclear Plant, a preliminary discussion over the purchase and possible future operation of the Bellefonte nuclear facility by Nuclear Development LLC. As some of you may know and has been announced, Franklin Haney formed Nuclear Development LLC, placed earnest money of about $22 million on a $111 million purchase from the TVA of the Bellefonte nuclear plant. That transaction has not been completed unless an announcement of the change will happen this morning. We do not know that. As of the meeting with the community, Nuclear Development LLC at Bellefonte, and discussions and interviews with former Congressman Bud Kramer, who is currently a lobbyist in Washington, and officials of Nuclear Development LLC, the Chief Nuclear Operating Officer, Bill McCullum, and their contractor, who they have a memorandum of understanding, have not hired the contractor because the plant hasn't been purchased yet, SNC Lavalin, who has offices here in the United States, but whose primary headquarters, home office, is in Montreal, Canada, I believe. Anyway, their home office is in Canada. The Chief Nuclear Officer of SNC Lavalin is a former TVA employee, Preston Swafford. So you have two former TVA employees on executive level, Preston Swafford, Chief Nuclear Operating Officer of SNC Lavalin, and the Chief Nuclear Operating Officer of Nuclear Development LLC, Bill McCullum, who is working on this project. SNC Lavalin has had engineers and people on site taking a look at the plant. I would take it preliminary to purchase. Franklin Haney, Nuclear Development LLC, has until November to complete the transaction. More of a little background on this project. This is a little information handout we had Best Matter had a few years ago. This is a little information leaflet we made up in 2010. It's kind of interesting. It was estimated that the completion of Bellefonte Units 1 and 2 would cost $8 billion in March of 2010. Now, of course, as you can see here, you got the nuclear money sinkhole. Overdrawn, it says on this check, and we encourage people to send this in with their electric bill. Mr. Haney, at this time, Nuclear Development LLC, says he has a buyer for that power if he ever gets it up and running, which is doubtful. The question is, who is going to be the buyer of this power? He has not disclosed who that's going to be. A lot of talk, but maybe this morning we'll learn who that buyer is. It'll certainly be asked. What cost $8 billion in 8 years ago now is estimated, if a nuclear facility was to be built, is anywhere from $12 to $15 billion of units of this type. Bellefonte is in disrepair. The facility was its license was pulled because TVA said they didn't want to build the plant. So for a couple of years, the plant operation and quality control ceased. All records were lost. The plant was cannibalized. Now Haney says he can complete Unit 1 for $3 billion. We believe that that figure is inaccurate. We believe that it will cost a minimum of $5 billion to complete Unit 1. Unit 1 at last discussion by TVA was 55% complete. Of course, again, that unit was stripped. There may have been some of the items that were pulled out of that plant and cannibalized may have been replaced. They don't know that. The integrity of the plant is in question. Another problem with the plant, as Arnie Gunderson with Fair Winds Energy, he is a former nuclear engineer and executive of the Nuclear Power Corporation. He has stated that there's problems with Bellefonte in that the integrity of the containment may have been compromised, being that while the license was surrendered, there was water which seeped in to the containment area, it possibly deteriorating the concrete. All that will have to be inspected by the NRC, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, prior to the plant's license being operated and the plant going into construction. How severe the damage is, no one knows, at least not the public. I'm sure the TVA knows. Hopefully the Nuclear Regulatory Commission knows. It's incumbent on the Nuclear Regulatory Commission to fulfill their mission of protecting the public. There's a problem with the current owner if he purchases it, Nuclear Development LLC, in that he has basically made contributions to the executive branch of government, to particularly Donald Trump, the President of the United States, of $1 million. Of course, the President, being that's an executive branch of government, is over the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Now, how much this will be compromised? There's been numerous news articles about attempted financing from foreign entities. The nation of Qatar, Qatar, by Franklin Haney. Allegedly, they met on his yacht. Michael Cohen, it's been alleged that he was offered $10 million to help in getting this project up and running and get financing for it. So already the project is not even, Mr. Haney and Nuclear Development LLC doesn't even own the facility, and we're already involved in turmoil as far as integrity goes. My concern here, of course, in risk management and also human factors analysis is nuclear surety and human reliability. This already starts out to be a question. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission's primary mission is to protect the public. Has that been compromised? I don't know. We'll ask these questions this morning. Gary Morgan, arclight.blogspot.com, Brettle Best Matter. And just a little background. I'll flash up some pictures of Bellefonte site. But that's our little information handout we had. This is the rear entrance of Bellefonte. This picture is taken in 2010. Of course, the gate was closed. As you can see, the cooling towers. Here, it makes for an interesting picture. You see the containment on the containment of the two units on the left. And by the way, Unit 2 is 35% complete. Is allegedly 35%. Unit 1 is allegedly 55% complete. We believe that it will cost Nuclear Development LLC $5 billion to complete Unit 1, and that is $2 billion over what Haney's claim is. It has been the past experience of nuclear contractors and nuclear operators that they underestimate cost and time. It says this plant could be up and running by 2025. I don't know about that. Maybe they also said it'd be up and running by 2024. Preston Swafford told me that more like 2025, and with cost overruns and time, it's going to be more time than that probably. Let's see some more pictures here. This is a picture that Wikipedia has of Bellefonte. Like I said, this is Wikipedia off the web. I'll point out here is Unit 1 reactor, Unit 2 reactor. This is a reactor that's 55% complete according to TVA. Reactor's 35% complete, and you have the cooling towers. Here you have the fuel storage pools in this area. Nuclear fuel would be stored in this area. This is administrative complex here. Here you have the transmission yard. Of course, cooling towers, accessory buildings in the background, workers' buildings. This is the entrance of the plant here. This area, of course, the parking lot's all down in here. You can't really see it. Administrative area, the generation area here, where the steam generators would be, and the other technical components of the plant. Once again, this facility was stripped, completely stripped out. All tubing, steam generators were removed. A lot of components. Control room was analog. Some of that has been updated, at least in Unit 1. Been told that Unit 2 is not updated. Here's another picture of the Bellefonte from a pond area off the road. See the cooling towers on the right. The transmission yard is in the foreground. You have the water area here, which is in the front. That is not a cooling pond. Cooling comes from the river, which is over the ridge, about a half a mile away from the plant. Water is pumped out of the river to cool the nuclear reactor, and then the outflow would be downstream. In the area where the intake and outflow is, it's been discovered that when the river current is fast, there is a reversal there, because the embayment and cove where the intake and outflow is has a problem with eddying of the water, which causes warm water in the outflow to flow back upstream to the what's supposed to be the cooling water. So you have, in this particular area here, you have outflow, which is actually flowing in times when the river is running fast up until the inflow. That could be a problem, particularly in summertime and hot weather. This is another picture from the parking lot. Again, this is Wikipedia. I was just up there with the Economic Development Authority's meeting here earlier, which I placed on YouTube. Another aerial view of the plant. Again, cooling towers, transmission yard, containment area, and steam generator generation area here. Again, this would be the view. Of course, there's an aerial view from basically the area of the river, looking down at Bellefonte.